What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. And no, I have not fallen off the face of the earth. I've just been playing Borderlands 4 for the last 66.5 hours. Now, you may have more hours than me. Comment down below how many hours you have in the game so far. And it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. I'm going to avoid spoilers as much as possible. I don't really want to ruin it for any of you guys that are still playing it because I know that there's a lot to digest. And some of you guys don't want to beat the story right off the bat, and that's okay. I want to be able to save that and preserve that for you because I had it preserved. I didn't have it spoiled, and it was really nice because us being chronically online as a society, sometimes you get things spoiled just by scrolling on social media. So that being said, the game's really good. The story's really good. It's a lot of fun to jump into the story right off the bat and really get into it, because if you played the story of Borderlands 3, we all know how that story went. It was very disjointed. It was good in parts, bad in others, and a slog in other parts of it. So it was just not very focused. The focus of the story was just telling a lot of different little stories and progressing a lot of little stories forward. There was an overarching, narrative to it, but it just didn't feel very focused, and it was very disjointed. The story in Borderlands 4 improves upon that tenfold. Building upon that, the game is an open world game, and it's been one that we've known about for a while, and it really works for the Borderlands universe. I was kind of skeptical at first thinking about an open world game and Borderlands, because I don't know about you guys, but I have been open worlded to death, and there's just so much to do in a lot of video games now that it feels tedious and it feels boring. It feels like chore work. It's like, okay, now I've got to do this, and then I've got to do this, and then I've also got to do this. And I'm just going to go from this point to this point to this point. But it actually really works in the Borderlands universe, and that may be me just, being a big fan of the series, but I feel like Borderlands was always destined to be this. And they've said that in their marketing material, that we've always wanted Borderlands to be this way. And it shows. This world is great, and traversing the world is amazing, and the new additional movement abilities, whether it be gliding or dashing or even using your grappling hook, it's really solid here, and it's really polished because, in Borderlands 3 we added the ability to slide and the ability to mantle things, but now you can do all of these other things and they just work well together. The only caveat being is I don't like that melee and the grappling hook are on the same bind. On keyboard it's V, on the controller it's one of your sticks, and I find myself meleeing the air quite a bit, and I hope that eventually we can bind this to something else, and maybe I can put it on my mouse key or something like that and have melee somewhere else. But that's a minor gripe. And yes, it is your typical open world. You have to go to certain locations to unlock safe houses, which unlock fast travel points, and then you have silos, which you unlock. And the silos are really cool because once you unlock a silo, you unlock this balloon that you can zip line up, and it takes you and glides you way up in the air. But it also unlocks a spot on the map where you can walk into this area, and then you kind of follow the beeps and the little meter of where you can find vault key fragments. And then once you find all the 3 vault key fragments in an area, then it unlocks the ability for you to unlock the vault. And there's 3 vaults throughout the game, and you're traversing through and trying to find these. And then once you find them, you unlock the vault. And then once you unlock the vault, then you fight the vault monsters. And that's just a nice addition to having to clear things on the map. And I also forgot to mention that I have been playing for 66 hours, and I've been playing as Harlow. Harlow was actually not my first Vault Hunter choice when the game first came out and I started hearing about the Vault Hunters. My first choice was actually going to be Rafa. Rafa was what I had my mind set on from day one, and I was like, that's who I'm going to play as. And then once we saw more and more about Harlow, I was like, that looks like a lot of fun. And then I had been playing through Borderlands 3 again in my spare time, waiting on Borderlands 4 to come out. And I'd been playing as Amara, and I was like, that's kind of fun. So I started out as Harlow, and I have just been enjoying the character so much. I have just not wanted to stop playing. I just keep respecking and trying different things and experimenting. I do want to try all the Vault Hunters out at some point. There's not one that I really don't care to try out. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the fact that we're going to get another Vault Hunter in the future, and just the ability to have all of these characters. They really show that they put a lot of care and effort into these skill trees and these characters and their abilities. It's just top notch. I love it so much. With playing Harlow, the loot chase has been a lot of fun. I found myself that I was playing for 6 hours before I got my first legendary, and that's a big change from Borderlands 3. When you started the game, you could get a legendary in Borderlands 3. This is a bit different, and I find that the legendary chase and the chase for weapons is a lot of fun. I'm actually using blues and I'm using purples, and I'm actually trying them out. I'm seeing what they have on them, and I'm actually experimenting. I'm not just chasing after the best legendary in the game, because one, I don't know where the heck they are because I'm not really looking. I'm just going out and playing and enjoying my time with it. But two, it's just fun that all of the weapons have different abilities, and that plays into the licensed part system. If you guys don't know, there's a licensed part mechanic in the game where you can get weapons with other parts from other weapons on it. You can get like a Malawan SMG with, you know, Torg on it, where you have to reload and it causes the bullets to explode. It's just crazy insane things like that. Or you get a Jacobs revolver that has Atlas tracking darts on it. It's absolutely insane the amount of combinations that you can get and the things that you can play into. It's a lot of fun, and it makes chasing down weapons or just chasing down different combinations of weapons for your build or whatever you want to play as a lot of fun. And you're not just chasing all the legendaries. Yes, you will eventually chase those and you'll find the ones that you want, because we'll find things that are broken, but for now it's just been refreshing to just jump in and, hey, that looks better than what I have. Let me try that and see how that works. Well, I don't like it, so then I'll kick it to the curb. Or that's amazing, I'll use that for, you know, 6 or 7 levels. It's different, as opposed to Borderlands 3, where it was just like, yep, I'm gonna go get this and this and this. And then even back in Borderlands 2, where you'd just be like, yep, I need these weapons, and then I'll be set. That being said, having all of the loot chase and being able to chase for loot, there's so much more that you can do on the map. You could be running around and going to a main mission, and you could run into a world event, and you just pop in the world event. They're domed off, and you can go and start it, and you can take it on and see, you know, how your build stacks up against a world event. And maybe, you know, you take it out and you get another piece of amazing loot, or you get your butt handed to you, and then you have to, you know, just keep on going. But you don't lose anything other than money when you lose the world event, but you just keep going. And that kind of thing is fun, because you're not doing the same thing over and over and over. The open world lends itself to a lot of experimentation, and even the licensed part system does too, because it's just, hey, how does this stack up against this boss, or how does this weapon with this element and this ability through the licensed part system, how does that stack up against this boss, this element, this sort of thing. It's absolutely crazy the amount of combinations and how things progress as you play through the game, and how you can get distracted so easily and lose so many hours just by going off the beaten path. And the thing I think that wraps that all up into a nice, neat package is the game's sound design. I think it must be said that the game's sound design is probably the best in a Borderlands game that there's ever been. The sound design, from just the movement and how you're moving, or your bullets hitting an enemy, or once you take out an enemy, or you're hitting critical hits, or you're just doing a melee on a character. Just everything is so crunchy. Kills are crunchy. Music as you're starting a farm or starting a boss fight, how it ramps up, and it's just electric, and you're just doing a farm over and over, and the music just keeps going. It's enticing to want to keep going. And how the UI reacts to you and your character, and how you can open the rewards after you complete a mission. It's just all very punchy, very looter shootery, but it works. When you get that legendary sound, you're like, I know I got one, and it entices you to keep going, and it contributes to the addiction of playing the game. The sound design is super solid. I also love the ability, the one thing that I saw that they added was the ability to turn down the character sound effects. So like, you know, as your character is getting hit or getting hit with status effects, your character makes some feedback noise. And so the ability to turn that down is something I've wanted since, you know, Borderlands 2, and just being able to turn that down is top notch in my opinion. But all of the other sounds are just so good. It just feels so great to hop in. The weapons sound great. The explosions sound great. The flesh exploding sounds great. It's just all really good sound design and really good package of how this world is put together and how it all plays into the overall experience of Borderlands 4. And I can't gush about the game enough, but there are some things and some drawbacks of the game that I found that maybe I don't like so much, and it's okay to really enjoy something. I posted this out on Twitter the other day. It's okay to really enjoy something, but also have concerns about it and frustrations about it at the same time. That's kind of how I feel about Borderlands 4's performance. The performance of the game leaves a lot to be desired. The game does not run extremely well. I will say I've been pretty blessed to be able to get about 60 frames per second. I'm playing on an RTX 3080 with a Ryzen 7 5800X 3D and about 32 gigs of RAM. And I'm playing the game in 1440. Most things turn quite a bit down. I have DLSS on, TSR on, and then I think I have it on balanced. So that gives me about 60 frames a second. I can't say it's fully 60 frames per second. Usually I've been getting a little bit more because I've also found a way to turn off volumetric fog completely. Good stuff. It's great that it runs at 60. I've seen the game when it doesn't run at 60, and I do feel bad for those people that are having trouble getting the game to run at 60, or those people on console. That's where I could feel like the performance could be a lot better. I'm not gonna preach to you and say that the game is great and it's perfect and it's outstanding. It's fun and a lot of the mechanics are fun, but the performance is hindering the game right now. and then the antics on social media with the performance and how it's affecting the game is not helping the cause for the game. The game is doing so well, probably the best Borderlands game that's ever come out, but the performance issues and the antics on social media just are not boding well for the overall confidence of people that don't understand how that works. So I'll just say it that way. That being said, I do think that the game needs, you know, some performance patches. They released one this last Thursday, and it seemed to do okay. I didn't see much performance as opposed to gains. I didn't see any losses, so it stayed about the same. I'm sure they're slowly working on it, and the only thing I hope with the performance issues is before they start balancing the game, before they start, you know, nerfing things and buffing things, I really hope that we get some performance patches, especially for those people on console as well as some people on lower end PCs. I hope that we do get some performance patches before we start seeing buffs and nerfs and all of that stuff for the game, because you create a narrative when you don't react to the biggest fire in the situation. And I think the biggest fire for them right now is the performance of the game. And I know that Gearbox knows that. I know that they've talked about it. They've been super transparent this time around about talking about things and listening to the community and listening to feedback. I know they understand that. I know they'll make it right, but it's just, I hope that they do that first. That being said, if you have played the game and you've had experiences with the game, curious how it's running for you and what your system looks like if you're playing on PC or if you're playing on console. I've heard it's mixed on console. I've heard the newer consoles run pretty decent, but I'd love to hear down in the comment section down below what you guys think about the performance and how it's doing for you. I will say there was a situation in the game where I was playing and I was soft locked out of a story area. I went to an area, and I can't divulge where I was at in the map and what was going on because I don't want to give you guys spoilers, but I went to an area. Then I said, hey, I probably need to get out and farm a little bit to get my level up and get some better weapons for this area because I'm just getting it handed to me, which is a typical Borderlands thing to do so you can get better gear so you can take on the area and be fine with it. So I teleported out, and I come back the next day, and I, for the life of me, can't progress a certain area because I'm soft locked out of a fast travel point. And so I spent maybe an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours on stream when I was playing it last weekend trying to navigate through to an area. And had I not had the foresight to ask somebody to replay the mission on their save, I wouldn't have been able to finish the game. I would have been locked out of that story mission and wouldn't have been able to finish that part to progress the story to finish the game. So stuff like that is very concerning, and stuff like that is game breaking in my opinion, and stuff like that needs to be fixed immediately. I did try posting out on social media asking other people what they had thought about that or if they had experienced it. Hadn't heard a whole lot. I did see a Reddit thread about it, so if you guys are interested in some of that, I could link it down in the comment section down below. But stuff like that frustrates me. I hate when you get locked out of certain areas or you can't progress the thing, because like games like this take hours upon hours upon hours. I think it took me about 50 hours to complete the story, so that's, you know, doing side stuff and being distracted. But then putting that much time in and not even being able to finish would be frustrating to me, and it would be hard for me to want to keep going after that point. I will say my last gripe with the game is probably the inventory management, and the inventory management hasn't been good in a Borderlands game since maybe Borderlands 2. I thought Borderlands 3 was okay. I thought Wonderlands was all right until you get your bank full, and then it just didn't work. So this one works okay. They've added some nice additions to the inventory management to be able to tag things or be able to mark things as bank and send them directly to your bank. That's great. I love that stuff. But there are situations where I'm like marking something as trash and I'll mark two things above it, or you'll just be navigating and it gets stuck. And there's a lot of different bells and whistles to be able to sort through your inventory and be able to sort through lots of loot. And it works. It's just overwhelming. And once you get the hang of it, it's good, but I just don't like the inventory management. I just feel like it's rough in general, and maybe could have been a little bit better, but maybe they're limited by the engine or limited by the way that they've coded it. I don't know. It seems like it's always been an issue even since Borderlands 3. I know Borderlands 3 improved upon it, but it's still just rough in my opinion, and I don't really enjoy it all that much. And then the end game, I'm not going to comment on the end game yet. That's because I just got into UVHM1, and I'm going to progress that. I'll probably make a separate video on that talking about the endgame stuff, so we don't even have to talk about that or even get into that. That being said, that's kind of my thoughts on the game. That's my pros, my cons, what I think about the game so far. Overall, I'm having a blast. You know, I can't wait to get done recording this video to jump in and play more. Is there anything on the channel that you guys would like to see? Anything you'd like to see me cover? Like I said, I'm just going to start pumping out content, spitballing things and seeing what sticks, see what doesn't stick. We're really just trying to grow this thing. We're trying to really get in at the ground level of a Borderlands game and play it and make content on the game and just have fun. So let me know what you guys want to see down in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys think of the game so far down in the comment section down below. Let's chat about it. That's our place to talk. I also do stream. The link should be down in the description box down below. If you guys want to come in the stream, I've been streaming on YouTube as well as over on Twitch. So check that out. If you guys enjoy the video, give it a big old thumbs up. And if you guys are new here, consider subscribing as I put out Borderlands content as much as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.